episode 40, which is a bit of a milestone, actually.
Look at that, 40.
I know. And actually, more importantly, I should start this podcast by saying it is Easter Sunday, so he is risen. Has risen, is risen, I don't even know.
Yeah, well, do you celebrate Easter? Are you religious? You kind of are, right? You kind of not?
I would say I feel like this is like such a lame LA thing, but I'm more spiritual than religious.
That's right.
But I grew up...
But your family celebrates Easter.
Yeah. So I grew up with religion, and yeah, I mean, like, all things considered, like, Jesus is like a good guy. Like, I revere Jesus, or Jesus is revered to me.
Okay.
But yeah, I was actually thinking too, like, when they were like, oh, like, he is risen, like, that's the thing they say. I was like, that's something that I feel like you can say in church and during sex. Right?
That's it.
I don't know, or like some other ones, like I just I was like, okay, like amen. You could say that during, well, probably after sex. Oh God.
Why would you say that after sex?
I mean, you could.
You could.
Or like, oh God. You can definitely say, oh God, during sex, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
What about like the power of Christ compels you?
I wouldn't say that during sex, but you might.
Some people might. Mm-hmm. So from now on after sex, I'm going to say peace be with you. And please leave a donation in the small wooden basket by the door. No, I'm like, Al, are you going to give a homily for this podcast or no?
What was that?
I said, are you going to give a homily?
I don't know what that is. I am not religious. You know that.
Oh, but you're Puerto Rican. You're telling me you didn't grow up going to Catholic church?
No, actually it didn't. My mom is very religious, and my brother was raised that way, but I think as the time I was born, they kind of threw that out the window. I would only go to church with my friends because they were all Catholic.
Okay, so you were like Catholic by de facto almost.
Kind of, but like I said, I didn't really do Easter at all. Maybe when I was a little kid, we did the Easter egg hunts.
Right.
Which I don't understand the background of an Easter egg hunt, but that's fine.
Well, that's like commercialized Easter for sure. Mm-hmm. I was gonna say like I was gonna play a game like who's the worst Catholic, Brie or Al. I honestly thought it would be me, but now I can see that it's you. So
you know, I've seen Jesus Christ Superstar many of times, and I tend to side with Judas.
Oh my God. Listen, I told my Nana that she could probably listen to this episode, so now she's really gonna dislike you. Yeah, my Nana was like, she was like, I called her, I'd like to wish her a happy Easter, and I'm like, Nan, we're talking about Jesus on the podcast today. She was like, really? I'm like, yes, like respectfully, of course. And she's like, can I listen? So I'm like, I might let her. I don't know. This might be the time.
I didn't even know it was Easter until my mom Venmoed me $20 this morning.
Oh my God, that's so cute. I honestly totally forgot about it too. And then, you know what I also realized? Like, it was around this time last year that we thought I was the next Mother Mary. Remember? I thought I was pregnant by Immaculate Conception. And I thought I was going to have like the next Jesus, like the next son of, no, he is Christ. He's not the son of Christ, right? I don't even know.
He is Christ, I'd imagine. Yeah, I think he is Jesus Christ. Yeah.
So I would have had Christ Jr. or Sonny, like whatever you want to go with. I don't even know.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was this time last year. And I also was reading online today that Easter actually has like very pagan roots. That it like has to do actually with sex. So I was like, oh my God, like now maybe this is my new favorite holiday, knowing that like low key Easter is about like sex and being fertile. I'm like, okay, maybe this is going to make a play to be my favorite holiday.
Okay. Well, that's kind of what the chickens and the baby bunnies are about, right? That's like a symbolizing birth. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely that's what it's about. I also just think that, like, listen, like, God wants you to fuck. If he didn't, he wouldn't have made it feel so good. Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, this, like, weird, like, you know, shame or, like, this sort of, like bad look that, like, religion takes on sex. I'm like, it's not based in reality for me.
Yeah. And religious people always have, like, 20 kids.
Well, that's because they think you're not supposed to use, some of them think you're not supposed to use contraception.
Oh, that's right.
Which is like, I mean, I think about that all the time. Like, if I were Irish Catholic, I would have had 45 kids. Because, like, I'm not going to let that rule stop me. Like, no. So, and that's how you know, too. Like, when you see Irish Catholic families and they have, like, 3 kids, you're like, okay, whatever. When you see Irish Catholics with, like, 13, 14, 15 kids, that basically is just telling you, like, they liked to bang the parents. So, yeah, I don't even... Like, and I don't know, I feel like there's all these things that like are like misinterpreted. Like, there's something in the Bible about like not spilling your seed, so people took that as, oh, you shouldn't masturbate. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure God just meant if you jerk off, clean up after yourself. Like, I think like why would you like hear that and be like, oh, I can't masturbate? It's like, no, he's just saying like, don't be a pig about it. That's how I would have interpreted it. Maybe that's what I should do, Al. Maybe I should examine the ancient texts and put out Bree's Bible.
I think that's a great idea. Well, the Old Testament or the New Testament? Because there's a difference.
I don't even know. I guess, but can we do both testaments? Like,
I suppose you could, yeah.
I don't even know. Also, okay, wait. So then I went online because you know me, like I'm like I always like I get really into it. So then I was like, okay, like the Bible and sex. Like I needed to explore this relationship or whatever, if you will. So there was a woman and she, was pulling out all of these different, what do you call it, pieces of scripture. I don't really know. So the one that stuck out to me was, this is in the Bible, by the way. I quote, "May her breasts satisfy you at all times. May you be intoxicated always by her love." So
wow.
Not only does God like sex, but he's a boob guy.
Yeah, he is.
Who would have thought?
Are you sure there's no passages about butts?
No, I was just going to say, like, God is not an ass guy, apparently, because in the Bible, it's all mention of, like, breasts this and breasts that. That wasn't the only one. Like, there were more. A lot of talk about enjoying the breasts of your wife. And I was like, way to go, God. Way to go. So I might start going to church again, honestly, now that I know this. Like, this is amazing news.
Free wine, free crackers.
For a little snackaroo. Like, and see, that's my other thing, too. I was going to mention, like, have you ever been to a black church before?
No, I've always wanted to, though.
Oh, my God. It's like, you want to talk about, like, once you go black, you'll never go back. Like, the church is a great example of that. Once you go to, like a black, like a church with a lot of black people, like, it's usually, there's, like, a word, I want to say, like, maybe Pentecostal or Baptist. But once you go to one of like one of those, you're never going to want to go back to Catholic mass or Catholic mass again.
I'm sure.
It's like, it is a rip-roaring good time. It's so much more fun. And that's the thing that I try to tell like my Catholic friends. I'm like, you got to revamp the mass. It's too boring, Mm-hmm. I mean,
well, then there's the Joel Osteen type masses, where there's giant televisions and there's screaming involved. That's another situation. You could do that.
Well, that's like, I considered that career for myself, Pentecostal preacher.
Oh, you can do that, definitely.
I felt like I would be great. And like you said, like I'm like go big or go home. So I would want to be like a mega church, like Joel Osteen, like you said. Like, and imagine me in the pulpit. Like, I feel like I'd be like the Dolly Parton of preachers.
Yeah, I mean, morally, you have to be, a little flexible, but who cares? You'll be rich.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I was like downing my Jesus juice as that was.
That sounds dirty.
I know. Well, that's like, people call it that. That's like what they call the wine. I'm like, oh, that sounds like a little weird to me. Also, like, the whole idea of communion is like a little bit barbaric. Like, the body of Christ, like, what, like. And literally, it's symbolic of, like, his body and his blood. Like, what the fuck? Like, What are we doing here?
We need to get an actual, like, priest in here and kind of explain everything to us.
Oh, my God. Do you think we could convince a priest to get on the podcast? That would be amazing. It would have to be, like, a very liberal, progressive priest to agree to be on this podcast.
I tell you one thing. I live right next to a Church of Latter-day Saints. And those Mormons are incredibly acceptable to any questions. They are so nice, you can't say one bad thing to them. I smoke pot in front of their church all day long, and they have no issue.
Oh my God, you would like desecrate the Mormon church and like smoke weed outside, Al. That would be you. So yeah, maybe.
I'm making it cool.
Well, yeah, you are. I mean, you're bringing it into the 21st century. I also feel like, and this is going to sound sacrilege, but it shouldn't. I feel like Jesus, I feel like Jesus would be a pothead.
Yeah, I mean, it is made from the earth. His dad created it.
His dad created it, but also like everything you know about the guy, like he just was so chill and laid back. Like, why wouldn't he also be a stoner? Like that
He
feels
looks like
very.
a hippie. Look at his beard, his long hair.
Yeah, like for sure, if he came around now, like he'd be like,
He wears sandals.
Sandals, yeah, absolutely. Like I feel like he'd have like a Bernie Sanders bumper sticker on the back of his car, like.
He drives a Honda Element. Yes.
Yeah, drives a Prius or something like that. Yeah, for sure. Jesus is like, I always think like you have to imagine like Jesus was such a nice, laid back guy that they were like, oh, we're gonna crucify you, and he was like, well, you got to do what you got to do. Like he didn't even like imagine being that kind that you're just like, yeah, like just fucking string me like he. So yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I also think if Jesus ever came back, imagine like. He could have any woman in the world. Jesus would be getting laid.
I don't know about every woman. I mean, some. I don't think you'd fuck them. I think you're so particular with your men. I don't think you'd fuck Jesus.
I'm too picky to have sex with Jesus. Oh my God, I just literally
Yes.
almost knocked my desk over because I feel like that might keep me out of heaven, that last one. Imagine I got up there and then like I'm like talking and I'm like, who is the keeper at the gates? Is it like Saint Joe or some shit like that? Saint Anthony. So it's like some
Peter. I think it's Peter.
Oh, you're right. It is Peter. I was getting there.
Look at that.
I was getting there. Yeah, like Saint Peter, and it's like I'm like, all right, I know it's like it's the drinking, and he's like, nope. And I'm like, oh, I know it's like the sex, and he's like, nope. And then I'm gonna be like, all right, like what's the reason why I can't get in? He's gonna be like, when you told Jesus that like you wouldn't swipe right on him on Tinder, that's the reason. You're not getting admission into heaven.
12 minutes into episode 40 of Bree Hunter's Fucked 2021. That's why.
That is... He's going to give us the timestamp and everything. Oh, God. I'm sorry, Jesus. I mean, like, physically speaking, like, I have no idea. But I do feel like, I mean, if Jesus came back, he'd be the biggest celebrity ever. Like... Who's turning him down besides, again, me, because I have, like, mental illness, but, like, besides me, who's turning him down?
I feel like religious celebrities kind of get a lot of flack these days, so maybe he wouldn't be so popular. Look at Tom Cruise. Everybody thinks he's crazy,
Oh, my God. That would be, like, a great show. Like, if Jesus came back and everybody just treated him like he just was, like, Joe Blow and, like, it didn't matter.
Or like Tom Cruise.
Yeah, or like Tom Cruise. Yeah. Like they were just like not that impressed with him, and he was like, okay, like, and then he had to just like take a job in accounting and just like live like the rest of us. Oh, it's so good. Have you ever seen Black Jesus on?
Yeah, I love that show.
That is a great show, and obviously before he passed away, Charlie Murphy was on it, and he's amazing.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, no, Black Jesus was like a wild show. I'm also just still thinking about myself as a preacher, and I just feel like. I could be like at first you'd be like, all right, well, like how could you with your personality be a preacher? But that's just it. I'm gonna make it all okay. Like I'm gonna be like, yeah, like Jesus Jugs. Jesus Jugs. Yeah. And then like my promotional poster will be like a photo of me like lovingly looking up at God with like two glowing like beams shooting out of my boobs.
Yeah. And plus, you don't have to wear pants. You're not a pants gal. And these preachers, they're always wearing these long, like, I don't know what you call them, smocks? Dresses?
The robes, yeah.
Robes,
the
yeah.
frocks.
I think that's perfect. You love those.
Yeah, I never pictured myself as a woman of the cloth, but I feel like I could. I would probably like what do you call it? Not adjust. Well, yeah, adjust is the word, but like, what do you call it? Like alteration? Make some alterations to the robe. Like, I'd probably like have my robe so like my cleavage would be sticking out.
Which I feel exists. That has to exist.
Yeah.
Cut robe, yeah.
And I couldn't wear anything like too crazy on my head because I wouldn't want to like flatten my hair. So it would have to be like there'd have to be some adjustments there for sure. I also probably would go commando under my robes because like normally I do that anyway. Like I need to get a little breeze up there.
It's the way God naturally intended humans to
It
be.
is
I mean, we're born without clothes, are we not?
correct. Exactly. And I don't know, I just feel like, and my church would be so fun. Like, my church would be like the hottest club in town. Like, there would be like a waiting list to get into my church. You know? I really feel like we're onto something here, Al. Like, maybe we ditch the comedy thing and we go into a life of service, so to speak.
I mean, certainly more lucrative. And hey, some whiskey opposed to wine. I think it's a great idea.
Oh, that's so smart, Al. I didn't even think of that. Yeah, instead of wine, we'll do shots of proper 12 when you approach the altar, right?
Yeah.
And then that'll make the Irish people happy because, like, at first you'd be like, oh, it'll be offensive, Irish Catholics. That might be the thing that gets them over to convert to my church. Yeah. And instead of doing that shit host, I'm going to do Italian bread because, I mean, like, what's the point?
I love Italian bread. I think you're going to sell out the Staples Center. I think this is a great idea.
Al, this might be our thing. And then what will you be? Like, do you want to be, what do they call them? Like, what do they call the priests? There's like a name for it. Like a deacon, maybe? Something
is
that.
What it is? I like it. I don't mind being like an archbishop. I don't know. Or maybe just like a bouncer. What do you call that?
Oh, like a holy bouncer. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I like that idea.
Yeah, I feel like that's like a security role, though. I need you to be like right there, like by my side, like you're like my rock.
I don't know if I'm okay with doing that. I don't have the moral flexibility you have. I'm okay with just staying out front, letting the cool people in.
Letting the cool people in. Okay, well, we could put you on security. You could sort of be like Saint Peter. Like, you could be like Saint Al at the front.
Exactly. And, no losers are allowed.
No losers allowed in our church. Oh, my God. Also, St. Al's is the name of the Catholic church in my town. So, like, how...
No, really?
Apropos.
Al is a biblical name?
Yes, Saint Alo. It stands for, like, Aloysius, which is, like...
Wow. Look at that.
Which is funny because I feel like so many people give their kids, like, semi-biblical names. But, like, Al was, like, the one where they were like, no. They're, like, Alexander or maybe Albert, but not Aloysius. So, there's only one of those. Yeah, man. But anyway, yeah. So Jesus is cool.
Yeah, I think he is. I think that's what we learned this episode.
Mm-hmm. I'm just trying to think before we wrap up. Like, did I learn anything else weird about sex in the Bible?
No, you know what I learned today? It has nothing to do with the Bible, but I think people do this, and let me know if you do this. It is customary for people to decorate eggs for Easter. Okay, we know this.
Right.
Now, do you eat the egg after? Because I'm noticing people eat the egg, which is kind of gross to me. I don't know why it's gross.
No,
it feels
once
gross.
It's like I'm like the food police. Once it's out of the fridge for so long, you gotta get rid of it.
Yeah, and it's like decorated with stickers and shit. Why are we eating this?
Well, also, if you want to keep the egg, a lot of the times you have to like poke a hole in the bottom and like drain it. And then you can keep the shell. Like, if you want to keep the shell for years to come, like, there's a way to like drain and sanitize it. But like, I don't understand how you're going to like dye the egg and then have it sitting out and then you're going to eat it. Like,
people eat the egg. It's disgusting.
See, like, that's crazy to me. And I bet you the people who do that are the same people who don't want to get the vaccine. Like, that's the crazy thing. Like, you will eat an egg that's been dyed and sitting out for days on end, but you're like, oh, I can't, infect my body with, like, the vaccination. Get real. Get real. I can't. You know what the better question is, honestly, is, like, I don't know if Jesus would date me, but now knowing that God is a boob man, I think he would date me.
God, the mystical creature that is God, would date you.
Well, obviously, if he's so, like, jacked up about tits, he would date me.
Yeah. Yeah, you got a point there.
So, that would be, like, some for real. Like, that would be, like, the ultimate sugar baby if you were dating God. Like,
yeah. I think it's a sweet deal for you.
Yeah. Your daddy.
You never have to pay for wine again. You just grab some water and bam.
I love how, like, that's, like, your bit. I'm, like, thinking, like, universal domination, and you're like, you'll never have to pay for wine. Like, we're obviously on, like, two different planes of thinking now.
I'm trying to help you out.
Oh my God, that's so amazing. Wow. I'm not even kidding. I'm going to sign up for Christian Mingle after this and start like.
Oh, you would do well. You would do so well. I'd imagine 99% of Christian Mingle are boob guys. They have to be.
Yeah, I don't know why I feel like that is the case too, but yeah, I'm going to get on Christian Mingle and be like Jugs for Jesus. Like that is my that's my move, I think. All right, I feel like I'm ready to wrap up this beautiful. It wasn't even like an Easter episode. It was like a straight up Jesus episode.
Jesus episode. I mean, what's Easter without Jesus, right?
True, it is all about him. So we basically just dedicated the episode to him rather than like the holiday, so to speak, which I feel like again is a lot more in line with, you know, the original context anyway. So so yeah. All right, any parting thoughts before I do the old sign off?
I think after this, I'm going to go watch The Passion of the Christ. But besides that, everyone at home, please like and subscribe to this episode and to Bree Hunter's Fuck. And go follow Bree Hunter's Fuck or Bree's account on Instagram. And follow Lughole, the production company that makes this podcast.
Yes. If you're following Jesus, you should also be following Lughole and Bree Hunter on social media. Because they're all very much in the same vein, as you know. But okay, until next time, guys, Al and I and the twins and Jesus love you very much.
Whoa!